there's a new gospel being preached to the minds of men. And it sounds convincing, especially if you've been hurt. And it goes like this. Average men shouldn't marry. They don't have enough sexual market value to offset female hypergamy. Modern women are too far gone. Only top tier 10% men get loyalty now. So unless you are rich, ripped, or ridiculously charismatic, you are better off alone. Marriage, they say, is just a weapon, legalized theft in a wedding dress. And I get it, because this message doesn't just come from nowhere. It comes from pain, from betrayal, from rejection, from watching so many women chase mirages while good men get overlooked. But here's the truth nobody wants to talk about because it doesn't fuel the fire. You don't profit off of it. You don't need to be in the top 10% to be deeply loved or receive loyalty. What you need to become is a man of substance in a world obsessed with the superficial. Yes, dating has changed. Instagram inflated egos. Dating apps gamified relationships and connection. There is even truth to hypergamy and women desiring physical and financial safety from the men that they select. Modern relationships feel like walking through a minefield blindfolded. But that doesn't mean all women are lost. It means, as a man, you need to sharpen your discernment, not your cynicism. It's one thing to step into relationships with your eyes wide open. It's another to step into them like it's a boxing ring with your hands up ready to defend and attack. What these red-pilled anti-marriage advocates and so-called alpha males are really saying is this: if you can't control her, you can't trust her. If she doesn't need you, she won't stay. If she thinks she can do better, she will leave. That's not love, that's fear. That's insecurity looking for leverage. That is a wounded individual trying to figure out how to stay safe. But if your whole strategy is to outrank your partner, to keep her loyal through status, dependence, or quiet fear, you're not building a relationship. You're building a power imbalance. And one day she will wake up. She will see and feel the framework that is built in fear and control. She will realize it was sold to her as protection, but in reality, it's a prison. And that's the day her heart will flood with resentment and she will rebel against what you have built. Why? Because it was never meant to support her growth. It was meant to keep her small so you could feel big and feel safe. And no one, man or woman, wants to be on the receiving end of that. And that dynamic, it's no different than a woman who gives the ugly guy a chance, believing he'll treat her better, like he owes her something because she sees him as beneath her. That's not love either. That is fear. And fear attracts dysfunction and disrespect. I've done it too myself. For a long time, I dated women I knew weren't ready to be wives because deep down, I didn't feel ready to be a husband. Their unavailability was my excuse. Their chaos was my cover. Their behavior excused mine. And when it failed, I never had to look at myself. I could just keep pointing the fingers. But there's another way, a rare one, a harder one, but the one that still leads to true partnership and co-creation. You have to become a man rooted in purpose, guided by vision, disciplined in your actions, soft where it counts, and unshakable where it matters. Not because it guarantees you loyalty, but because it makes you capable of recognizing the kind of woman who knows love is more than a transaction, more than glorified sex work. A woman whose respect for a man is not born of her dependency on one, but of character values and compatibility. She doesn't need you to be better than her. She needs you to be fully you, present, stable, intentional, not swayed by trends, not hunting for validation, not afraid of her freedom, because you have already built your own. So no, you don't need to be a millionaire to be respected. You don't need a six-pack to be wanted. And you don't need to manipulate and leverage sexual market value in relationships to ensure loyalty. Besides, if you play the market looking for love, don't be surprised when the market crashes. What you do need to do is to heal, to grow, to become the type of man whose presence speaks louder than his resume, whose yes means yes and no means no, a man who understands the difference between emotional intelligence and emotional maturity. Because yes, a lot of women are chasing illusions, but others are out there waiting for a man who is done buying what the world is selling. But if you don't heal, you will not be able to recognize and align with those women, and you won't be able to provide shelter for a healthy relationship if your framework is built in fear and insecurity and bitterness. So step up beyond ego and validation. The world needs more men who are not staring at their feet because they are afraid to stumble and fall. It needs men who lift their eyes to a horizon that sees everything the light touches. A woman is not a reward for your status. She is a reflection of your substance. The relationships that we attract mirror our own capacity for depth.